Mm, I'm deciding to sort of do a Bible study, and I'm like making recordings and just deleting them, saying a few words and deleting. But has to do with these people are, they're. It's one thing to say sharp, cruel words and be like, maybe never have a regret. It's another thing to make it ups to do this to somebody non-stop. Ages ago, um, I was told the devil's bottom is closing. It's placations, and these people are going to be stuck. So I just said it. I'm like, how? Oh, well, what do I gotta say? I was a shy person, so instead I chose a more entertaining kind of way, and nobody else was acknowledging it. So I don't know why anybody's criticizing me, other than they were like, well, I want to be that person, and I want to do it. This isn't, this is, I was appointed to this, just like I was appointed to other positions, and we're going to be stuck until you accept it. But in the meantime, I never would give the order to, like, um, let's just say let's just say this is the newness of life belt, like it's the belt, another dimension, if you will, that you really can't see or destroy with any kind of artillery. So obviously politicians want in on that, everybody wants in on that. So it's suspended. And so what somebody's doing is sort of like reaching down, in a way, essentially reaching down and bringing people up and sorting them like beads, like, just to them they're just, nah, they're all bad. And it's more again, don't want to do, but the other thing they're doing is they're saying, oh, I seen what this person does, and they're pretty well convinced, so they're going to take them and they're going to turn them into a little baby and scare the living daylights out of them, and do awful things to that baby. Then they're going to do a final death blow and then reduce them to fluff and do what they call a sweep up. And then bye. But one of the major problems with that is that there really is, for 99 maybe percent of the population, an appointed time when somebody's supposed to die. And so they're killing them too soon, and now they're mostly in spirit form. And it's getting to be more of the population in spirit form than in fleshly form. Now, it is appointed for man to die once, and then the judgment. So, how do you prove that the Word of God is not a lie? It's not going to tell a farce. They were judged. But the problem is, we don't know what Jesus judged those people at. Did he say, this one is forgiven despite what they done, for whatever reason, knowing something that nobody else would know? So I'm just saying, like, who who are you to say, well, that's what they did, and according to this, that's what you get, and just kind of like the Apostle Paul when he was the Pharisee Saul. It's not King Saul, although there is a King Saul in the Old Testament. But coming into the New Covenant, the New Testament, Saul is a Pharisee of the highest order, and he's dragging people out of their houses on the grounds that they're teaching this new way. With he didn't care, he just wanted to do it, and he was putting them to death. So that's kind of what these people are doing, and women are doing. Or they're like, my husband never came home. The devil's bottom is closing. Denounce placations. You will go to a safe zone. They're usually a dead end street, and you would be with other people who have denounced placation. And I said, they're not doing it right or something. They're saying it in their mind. Denounce placation rightly and proverbially. He said, and we're relying on what he's saying. And he used to placate, or he's aware of what placations is. And he goes, no, we were a staycating agency. So you do these sweep ups, or is this not what you're familiar with? I might say. Well, my cousins, or my aunt's cousins, Jerry and Chris Vandenberg, but Jerry Depp, I think his last name is, adopted son of Robert Depp Sr., um, were doing these sweep ups since around the 70s or 80s. How many people? I mean, how many people are gone? I mean, where did they get this ability? Where did they get the money? How did they do it? So when Prince Andrew, the Problem Prince video comes up on youtube.com, I just pressed it because somebody said everybody's related to Prince Andrew. And we could be being um, killed by the royals, but we're not sure. So I clicked it. All right, more royal stuff. I was interested to know that the queen was a mechanic in one of the wars. I'm like, what is this? She has a double? She's got a troglodyte double. Because she had some dental work that needed to get done. And I mean, she was really like a truck mechanic. I'm like, okay, these people earned their position. But I heard her say everybody's like Andrew's her favorite, and some sickos actually convinced them that it was okay to put Prince Andrew in a decoy helicopter to lure rocket shooters away from the operations one that was going to go in and do something. But you can see the advanced military planes, helicopters, and probably the ships. That's proof of either staycations or praycations. One of the cations being like, yeah, this is the stuff, and we can fly this thing, and we can fly these big things. But a lot of people were like, you would have caused so many planes dropping out of the sky, so much chaos if you made that chief of police and that leader of Scientology denounce staycations or placations. You see why you have to get this punishment? I'm like, no, nobody should be placating to the federal level or beyond. And it's supposed to be you placate your rec time, you don't placate your skills. And this is why. Because if you don't know how to fly a plane and placations ended, your plane's going to crash. So why would you appoint all these placators, staycators, and placated objects and placated planes that normally can't run, or placated ships that can't run? They're usually colossal, and they require magic to fly, to sail, to drive, to. And so a lot of these cars are saying, we'll know when this stuff is ended, when these things just they're not going to run. They're all placated, they're, they're staycated, and there's certain people who needed certain types of cars that were not placatable. And I was like, yeah, they're doing something with all of them. All models, all ages of cars. They're doing something with all of them. I'm sorry too because it was never my intention. It was my intention to save as many lives and and properties as possible. Just didn't realize it was that the people were so reliant on these Cations now when it really wasn't necessary. The red line placating their skills if they have to put a special hood over their head in order to tap a vein. And this one woman, I mean, she just looked at me and she saw this vein and she and jammed it in. You know, it's like I didn't feel a thing, but I was like, ooh, you know, I've been having blood draws since my thyroid started acting up as a child. So, I mean, I'm used to, all right, this seems good. Right, all right, this, all right, we're gonna wipe it with some alcohol. We're gonna use a, all right, and we're gonna feel a little pinch. And you just, and then they plug in the plunger, you know, not, or can you come over and help me? I mean, it's like on purpose. And these people are like, we are wondering why they're not getting smacked in the face. What we are not getting smacked in the face because they're homeless, living in their cars. These people caused it. And we're like, caused it? No. Or other people thought, this is staycation's placation station for the world. We're here to take over the world. And then everybody says it's Pinellas Park. They're like, no, it's not. It's Miami. Everybody says, everybody knows it's Disney. So I'm just, who had the divisive mind? All I was told was, you're not sick, but you are the way you are because of placation. And there's a book called The International Classification for Diseases. We'll just say it's double this width and it gets updated all the time. But he said, he just said, I think I was holding one in a library maybe. You cut it in half, cut it in half again, cut it in half again. This is how many real diseases exist, like that many, as opposed to double this width. And accidents and injuries happen all the time, but most of the time they're placated. Where I told you an example where somebody stopped messing with my hair and my face, where somebody said, "Oh, this guy sells his medicine," and then just careen a car into him, and then everybody's like, "No, no, we did what we had to do." And they actually think that what they're doing is a better idea than what Scotland Yard dreamt of for policing. I mean, it's not at all what God would have. But you can see the evidence of these cations because these planes don't exist then. But they did. They were innovative in their drawings and their desire for flight, but they can't possibly be run. So everybody was like, yeah, so it's a fake video. I said, it's proving staycations for one thing. And you can see the two total opposite behaviors from each prince. That Prince Andrew's getting, he's boisterous and full of life and, clasping the rose in between his teeth. And you don't even realize Prince Charles is standing right next to him. So I was like, did you see those planes? In the meantime, all I hear is, did you see how this lady recognized these planes? and she wanted to be a mother. Sounds like she's got a bigger penis than most of us. And I just said, you better hold off on your commentary because I'm still living my life. And so we see, at first I think it's another helicopter, but it's actually a flat plane. It looks like an F-15, if you will. I don't really know military planes, and it's landing like kind of like a flying saucer. No joke. You know what they're doing? They are in another realm, and let's just say this is the plane, and they have fishing line in there, and they teach their kids to do this. Now I'm going to land it real safe, land it real safe. And so everybody's like, it's so pretend, it's so not real, but it's real. You're in a place where you can affect real life with simple little things. And so they're making fun of it all by taking where God spoke and created the universe and fixed everything in its place. I forget the proper terminology, but they're fixed in their place. And he's taking melons and rotting them where the moon goes, and and that's supposed to make humanity uh, more comfortable with themselves, or at least close up the mouths of all the know-it-alls or all these spiritual people. Like, all there is this, and then you die. And it's sort of like I don't know what to say what somebody did to the earth, or if we've been as punished for trying to end placations, put in placations, but with a biodome around us, and they get to cation us all day long for fun. Like we're the steel ball in a pinball game, getting whopped all around, and then we're the maybe the puck in a hockey game. And I said to Lenny Rakuti's mother, I said, you worship to the devil and I get put in hell. She goes, this isn't hell, honey. I I'm in hell, and I was allowed to come up to tell you this isn't hell. You're not in hell. And so I was like, well, then what is it? Because it's real awful. And so I can only think that somebody uh, who's somebody or something is in hell, and I'm not, but I have to be close to it because somebody committed the epitome of lawlessness. So, I'm not sure if it's true or if this is. I heard that a lot of the Mormon church gets new doctrine all the time, and if they sort of propped open one of the cations, needs to run this new doctrine stuff so they can so they can have their own constitution based on this and that. Well, then, are we reliving Mitt Romney's desire to be president all the time? I mean, why are we this far back? Who's researching? And we have to live it out because nobody's explaining to them what the simulation does. Run it through the simulation. The only thing I think is weathermen they do spaghetti models, they do models, and it projects where a hurricane is going to show up. Well, the great egret, when it flies, it causes hurricanes and spawns tropical storms. And so I put two and two together that fast, and I said, well, there are lots of great egrets, but the one I had to contend with was, I guess, Lucifer in the form of Chief Hayworth, so that I don't get bashed anymore by their family. But I think it's the devil. He brings tornadoes. The devil, he brings hurricanes and horrible weather. But he keeps taking on the likeness of certain people, and he does do that. In the book of Genesis, he's in the form of a serpent, disguises himself as an angel of light. He's in these forms. So, but I wondered about the list of hurricanes in especially Pinellas County, Florida, which is the Gulf of Mexico. And Pinellas County goes like this, and then there's another little addendum, and then Florida goes like that. So it's like a peninsula within a peninsula. And so I was like, okay, in that area, what struck around Florida, especially, but not exclusively, Hurricane Michael. And it's sort of like, who's doing this? Somebody's trying to tell stories of hurricanes that have spawned tropical storms. So if Hurricane Michael and then Irma, Armageddon, oh, maybe that's not really a person, but him him trying to say this is going to cause Armageddon, is this placation's ending, and maybe then, but it spawns tropical storms. And does it is it have anything to do with relationships, and then the spawning of the spawns off of those relationships, or perpetrations of the devil in the form of MLH in um, totally occupying his body. Then he perpetrates and spawns um, offspring of the devil. If his seed and her seed, we think his is devil, but um, yes, his would be devil. Hers is seed. If you think of the prayer, fruit of thy womb, Jesus. So it's his seed and her seed is devil and Jesus. And devil is goats, if you will, describing, but not. I mean, that doesn't make a goat an evil thing. It's just a difference between sheep who need a shepherd and often go wayward, and goats that are sort of like climbing things, eating everything, intimidating, butting you. I mean, sheep are pretty tough too, but I mean, they need a shepherd. They go wayward, and if one goes off a cliff, the other one's gonna, and they're just gonna keep going. So they need a shepherd, and I don't mean a German Shepherd dog, but an actual person. And so, the German Shepherd was some kind of a representation of a herding type dog. But they breed them for what? Chewing on the arms of criminals. So anyhow, I had a lot going on in my head, and I wasn't, as far as I knew, I wasn't, say somebody's sitting there innocent. I'm like, hey, and you gotta listen to this, but I really wasn't. And then I have, time is passing, and I'm sort of like, I'm bored. I think I want to do that little comedy sketch and get it out of my head. It's like once it's out of my head, it's over here on paper, or it's in this thing, and then it's sort of like, ha ha ha, and I can see how it plays out. Instead, everybody, well, I think what happened was somebody watching was like, they wanted to get me out of a bad spot. They wanted to um, show that I'm worthy of it, and they wanted to just show loving kindness to me and get me out of this desperate situation where there's got to be something that everybody wants here. And if they thought it was placation station, and that this is how you take over the world is through New York, and the foreign country that attacked us might think that's how you destroy New York or destroy the world, or this bad country is take out its heart, the heart of the United States being New York, Washington, New York, the stock market, Washington, the government, and I forget where else. Because I don't think the attention was to, well, Pentagon, which is their defense, you know. I mean, so it was somebody's military assault, and it was orchestrated, and everybody knew Osama bin Laden had been already bombing the World Trade Center and trying to take down Wall Street because they thought, get them where it counts, their money. And everybody knows that when the stock market crashed in the 40s or 30s, um, people were literally throwing themselves off buildings because they invested everything in the stock market. And then something happened, and there was no jobs, there was no work, and so um, it's just very very bad times. And I believe the Roosevelts instituted certain welfare type programs to help people. And so a lot of people say you don't need any help anymore these days, but we do. If something happens to you, you need some kind of um, care. And the other thing is, something happened to some very important people. And to them, they're like, I sincerely doubt it. I sincerely doubt that most of these people are any bit important, other than somebody's mechanism for smoke and rape and torture and satanic activity and this or that. They're their vessel to party in. And you just eat all day and graze and watch TV. And I said, no, I am now available as a Christian, and nobody came over for spiritual counsel. Nobody visited. When I had a place in Waterville, it was like, we can't document this history that she kept a clean home. She applied her retroactive money appropriately, and you look the other way with people that are way mishandling their money. So I was they're calling me a world ender. Why would you make your world so dependent on these Cations? I mean, these men thought their operative was devil. Well, that's his handle. It's just his handle, or some whatever the term is. I know on CB radios you have handle. That's his code name devil. No, and actually, and I'm not trying to make friends with the devil. I'm just, people are like, devil, you do this, devil, do this, devil, and it's like, I said, oh my god, they they think they're too too good for this. I'm like, I I mean, I'm like, devil, it is not your time. Go into the west. That hits the devil. This hits his conduits. Up is Pracator. I'm allowed to thwart. Women, when they're thwarting, is up. And then I'm going to hit the placator down. But I just got mad. I'm like, when is it my day? Because you both married and then dumped me off in dead, deaf, white cat world, which I'm none of those things, and told the consummate gardener to go trolling around the sidewalks for the souls of the people that they fried and dumped in the sidewalk, and decided they wanted to do their own musical on the sidewalks of New York and have everything be this macabre um, Beetlejuice style nightmare. But he's like, you're not looking at the sidewalk. I said, why didn't you appoint my hunched over back grandmother to this job? She's not worthy. I'm like, yeah. So I started to be a snot myself. And stop eating? I want more. Stop drinking. I need more to drink. Oh, you don't like me drinking gasoline? I'm gonna drink a brewski or two, or don't, don't. I'm saying, why are you killing this homosexual? He is unrepentant. I'm like, you gave him 5 minutes to repent. He should know what's in himself. I'm like, no, what did you do with Jesus? Jesus is on the walls of hell because he transgressed. But then he got out because he's like, I knew I was in staycations because I wasn't suffering, but there was all these like sound effects. I'm like, I hope this is true. And it was like, and I can see it, and it's like all these lumpy, like it looks like somewhere inside somebody's body with like a lot of blood, but it's like, and all these gross noises, but there's faces within it. And that's what you did to Jesus. You're gonna find out. I said, then somebody said something. I'm like, I'll be here with Jesus. I ain't going. I'm not taking over. As Jesus, especially since I didn't want to take over as chief of police or chief of fire. I'm just saying, hey, if it's going to be, if it's necessary, I suppose I'll do it. But when do I get to the part where I actually get to stand arm to arm and face to face with everybody instead of just wah, 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 wah. The conduit says this because they just won't accept it. How great were these people compared to me? I'm friendly, I'm talkative, I'm willing to listen. I mean, how am I so different from them? You know what I mean? How am I so off from what these people were? I wanted a nice society. I used to care for the elderly, take care of the property, run errands for my elderly grandparents. I watched my grandfather degrade with multiple sclerosis. Well, my step grandfather, we shouldn't be experiencing multiple sclerosis. And they're saying is, you caused the destruction of all my brothers in blue and red and uh, the other men and women in first responderville. And I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. It was like I said, it's like I went to Disney. I normally don't go to Disney. I noticed there was some kind of a mechanism that was going to burn the whole place down. And I'm trying to say something. And they're like, I don't know you. No. And they walk away. And it's sort of like, and then somebody's like, when are you going to do something? And they're, mm, let's watch this little one do it. And I do nothing. And I'm like, no, are you really? You could do something, but you're not. You're waiting for us to do something. But you're setting this up to see who's going to do something. But you're the most capable of doing something and you're not doing anything. And I said, they're not listening to me. And so they don't recognize, or they're like, nah, oh, what's over here? Huh? Stop killing my vibe, you know? So um, it's one thing to not recognize me for something, but it's another thing to recognize me for the wrong thing. And I'm walking up the sidewalk, and two firemen, I had to go in between them because they're trying to do something with somebody who's probably sugar was low or something. And he's, hi, sweetheart, or something. I'm like, whatever. And Dan Doherty and all them, we thought she'd get along just fine here. Oh, so you've known about this place? That's why you guys all retired, went down to the Carolinas. This one decided to go on a perpetual vacation with his new wife, and all you guys are acting like I don't know who they are. And then we got people that I used to see in church as like captains in the fire department, captains and um, chiefs my age. I suppose it's possible, but um, it doesn't seem usual. And so, what my point is, the reason why I kicked myself back is like, didn't you just say about this stuff? Well, it destroyed everything, and now we're trying to work like this. I said, yeah, I did. But you said, take your medicine, everything's fine. You're just creating this for yourself because you would rather do religion as your cure, go to your religion when you feel this way, because my life is fine. It's this usual thing. And I say, oh, if you say so, then why did my half brother and I, will refer to my brothers and sisters, family, we had to fly up from Florida because my brother and his business partner were kidnapped for ransom. And my younger sister's like, don't help them. They're all on drugs and they're looking for money. And she said, I'm the one who married a millionaire. She said it wasn't about money. I'm like, all right. Well, then I called. I was about to call mom, and they were like, "Don't call mom." And I'm like, "Why?" Even to this day, I don't know why we were not supposed to call our mother. And so it seems like a scam, but when I go to this location, my brother, I'm on the phone with him, and he's like, "You don't remember?" I'm like, "Well, I remember coming up and we rented a car." He's like, "No. Do you remember why we had to come up?" I said, "Oh, no." He's like, "Look, me and Matt were assaulted bad there. And that location," he's like, "they haven't found the guy." And he said he was Mohammed, but he wasn't. He was he was talking satanic. He didn't seem like a radical of his, of Muslim faith, and he was a black man. And he said we were saying racist stuff. And then I started to remember, and he's like, "Look, it was so upsetting." He goes, "And it separated me and my Matt and our business for a long time, and I'm only just getting back to work." And he's like, "I'm taking a Seroquel right now because it's so upsetting. And I know how you are, Rachel. You're gonna want to defend your brother, but don't. Just get the services you need and get a place to live. Don't hang around." And um, as I sat there, I started to see, I'm like looking around, and then I remembered the phone call in the middle of the night or way early in the morning where it was still dark. And this person was like, I was hanging up on him. He's like, "Rachel, can you pray for me? I'm about to die." And I hung up on him because I'm like, don't say that. And then it went on and on. And then somebody else gets on the phone. And at one point, he said, "Do you want to give me your soul or something? You have to be willing." And that's when it clicked something in my mind where long ago they were saying, "Well, you've died and you have to give up your ghost, but you have to be willing." I said, "What are the other options?" "Well, you just have to take care of yourself. You have to, live your life, but you're dead. And you're not going to heaven, honey." Kind of thing. And it was weird because I was like, this has to be a disease, because they're like, "You will not have to go to the bathroom." And then immediately I'm like, "I gotta go pee. What are you talking about?" And then I went to the bathroom. I'm like, "I'm gonna get over this." And I'm just like, "I want to go home." And they're like, "You're gonna take the medicine?" "Sure, I'll take the medicine." And so I was like, "No, it's a disease," because that didn't make any sense. This is dumb. And I don't want to hear that again. So anybody saying, "Oh, she frequently goes off her meds," is a lie. So who would want to experience that again? But they were saying you inspired twerking because your movements and your legs, you're standing in line and absentmindedly tensing up your muscles in your legs and doing this with your thighs and everything. And they're like, "Oh, she's tweaking, she's tweaking." And they're always mistaking me for somebody on methamphetamines. And I'm locking and unlocking my knees till the cartilage is gone and it's just raw bone. And the cartilage, they said, will grow back, but it's got to heal over time. So we have to take you off that med that's doing it and put you on another med that does something else. And so my life was hell. Anybody says it wasn't. Anybody that wants that from me, I normally wouldn't, but I hope that happens to you. That you would sit there and be that hypnotized. Like, I want it like that for her. Why? Who are you? You're sick in the head. I couldn't possibly have lived. 90% of these people didn't live, that they lived thousands of lifetimes baby snatching, what they call picking up babies, getting inside a baby, confusing the gender, making the baby confused about itself as they grow up. And Ellen DeGeneres is supposed to prove this to everybody. Instead, she wants to say, "No, be yourself. Be worse than yourself. And be yourself at any age." And so. Uh, Everybody wants to beat my ass over LGBTQ shit and make me be, oh, well, the Catholic Church wants you to be a saint. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be your thwarter, Catholic Church. You stop trying to turn me into your saint. Stop making graven images of the Lord God and the saints. They will come to life and do you in. You want to climb out of a throne and put a sheet of acid into I think it was still Prince Charles or King Charles's mouth. And he said, I'd rather take cancer, saying they're racist. Whatever. It's not, I mean, they can have their opinion, but they cannot be a tyrant with it. They can't own slaves. You want to say they own slaves? Well, so did the Jacksons, so did Tyler Perry, so do Salt and Pepper, so do many people have they have their incognito avatar, they have their white face, and some people call it blackface. So it's not all. Oh, I want to be Paula Dean on a plantation and have um, everybody that's the staff and servants be African American, um, be black or be Hispanic, and everybody that's white is waited on handed foot, because that isn't the case with royalty either, and it's based on your lineage. And so when they say put together maybe an image of a conduit and this and that, and have to do with the conduit or the avatar for, or the, have to do with so and so for so and so, what she might look like. And they always chose black. Everybody always chose black, in fact. So why are you killing Scientologists when I think some of them, their decimator was usually white, and one day they're supposed to marry their conduit or whatever. So they're like, "Oh, we need to wipe out all these pervs." Don't just snatch somebody up, because a lot of it is guessing. And some people, they just want to hear those words so they can proceed, and they think that staycating it back is as simple as pressing a rewind button. But it leaves impressions, it leaves what they think are false memories, it leaves bad behaviors behind, and it causes people to use drugs or be cutters or be abusive to themselves or others. There's For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so, how can you say this doesn't make ripples when you kill somebody and just staycate it over? And then you said they staycated us, they placated us, they used us as their conduits, they abused us, they changed the way we look, and they inclined us to smoke and drink, and that's what you're doing now.